burning in your spirit, welling deep inside. You got a beast inside. I know it's hard to tame it, it's harder to explain it. Can't even get a picture, no matter how you frame it. There's so much pressure with all these external stresses, and they try to test you. Gotta push them through the feeling, even though your mind is reeling. The power's deep inside and leads you if you were willing. Got the power. Can you feel the power? This is the hour to release your power. Got the power.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Power Shut Up podcast. We have just kicked off season 3, and this is actually only episode 2 in season 3. Just as a reminder for those who were here to kick it off, thank you so much for tuning in. We had an amazing guest, Dr. B, who shared with us a new app that she created, and it's for children. It helps parents. It's in the physical therapy area to help and assist children. And I was excited to have her on. I met her on TikTok, so don't y'all talk about TikTok. Things happen over there. But she came and just kind of shared her journey, her motivation on why she even started it, a little bit of the trials and tribulations, and congratulations to her for just staying true to her assignment and doing what needed to be done, because there wasn't anything out there like that. So congratulations to her. And thank you, Dr. B, for being a guest on the show. So we are back for another episode, and I don't have a guest, or maybe I do. So I think that you all may know some of the guests that we may have. I'm going to drop the link as the show goes on for those who may come in and have them join me. And we're going to talk a little bit about a couple of things that we've heard over the years since we've been young, probably. But before I get started, I wanted to actually say what I usually say when we get things started is I wanted to say happy birthday to anybody who is celebrating a birthday. Y'all know how I am about birthdays, and I don't want to miss anybody. So if I haven't been able to catch you on any of the social medias, please refer back to the show and remember that I say happy birthday for those having a birthday in September or that I've missed along the way. Happy birthday to you. I also wanted to say happy anniversary. Happy anniversary to anybody who is out there celebrating love. Please do a shout out. I want to do a shout out from me to you on celebrating your anniversary, no matter what number it is, even if it's only 6 months. I'm all about celebrating a little love. And I wanted to also say congratulations. Congratulations to those who are out there celebrating a new job. They got a new career. They've just done something that they never thought they'd be able to do. Whatever it is, congratulations to you all, and keep going, keep doing what you're doing. I wanted to also send prayers up for anybody who is struggling. We all aren't, having a good time all the time. These are some difficult times, especially recently. So I want to send a prayer up to any of those who are struggling, having some issues. Please reach out to someone and just let them know how you're feeling. A lot of times we're feeling a way and we don't share it with anybody. So let somebody know if you're feeling some kind of way, but sending my prayers out to you all. And I did want to absolutely take a moment of silence in remembrance of 9/11. So I'm going to do that right now to remember. I don't ever want us to forget the families who still are, reminded of this moment. So just a moment of silence in remembrance of 9/11. Thank you all for continuing to stay tuned in. I appreciate you all, and I look forward to every Thursday so we can come and talk about some things. So tonight, I'm switching things up a little bit, which I warned that I would do, right? So I told you that there might be moments where we switch things up. So, like, we had a guest last week, which was absolutely amazing, but we're gonna switch things up, and we're not gonna do that. So before I get started with that, please like, share, comment, subscribe to my YouTube channel. You can find the show every Thursday, 7 to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, streaming live on the Power Shut Up page on Facebook or my YouTube channel, which is Lisa Duff Washington. So please go subscribe, check out the previous seasons and videos. But we got some new ones coming up this season. We just kicked off season 3, and we're excited to just let you know what's going on. So for those who don't know, who are just tuning in for the first time, I actually kicked this off from the start of a book. So I had a book that I wrote in 2019 called The Power Shut Up. And this became my baby, my brand. And I started the podcast because I wanted to continue conversations that get us to a better place on how we communicate with one another. So that's how the podcast started. We're actually in season 3, which is exciting. And we have guests that come on and share things that they're doing in their communities. And we also, and we highlight them, but we also kind of link in the Power Shut Up, because I actually think that, communication is a part of everything that you do. So we link that into people's journeys and try to figure out how we can better communicate with one another, how we can listen more, and just listen for understanding more so than to respond. So I really believe in thinking first before you speak. Now, I'm not saying this is an absolute, but generally speaking, especially nowadays, you guys, we are not listening to one another. We're not hearing one another, and we're not even seeking to understand. We're just waiting for a turn to speak. And what I like to do is discuss some of those things while we're here. So I'm trying to get people to learn how to exercise their power of shut up. And when I say that, I'm not suggesting that you never say anything, be quiet, go unheard, your voice doesn't count. None of that. I'm saying the very opposite. Your voice does matter, and it does count. And when you exercise your power, shut up, you're actually managing your words, and you're choosing to speak when you feel that it would make impact, when you feel that it'll make a difference. And when I say that, I mean in a positive way, because words are powerful in many directions. And as you can see, in the days we are in, sometimes words can be used to harm, and sometimes words can be used to heal. And I'm on the side of healing and using your words to heal one another. So I thank everybody for tuning in. And we are about the business of burning those petty files. So I know that we are all in a world of, you can say what you want to say, but there are consequences to that. And I think we are living in a world where that is absolutely showing up. And so tonight I wanted to get into a conversation and just have you all hang out with me and talk about 2 things that we've heard since we were younger. One being, sticks and stones may hurt my bones, but words would never hurt me. The other being, actions speak louder than words. So I wanted to tap into this because I have my own feelings about it, but I really did want, for anybody who decides to tune in, I wanted to have a conversation about sticks and stones may hurt my bones, but words will never hurt me. And I wanted to have a discussion with those who might be here and say, do you think that's true? I can share my viewpoint, but I do encourage everyone who tunes in to share their viewpoint on this. Do you think that sticks and stones hurt, but words can't do anything to you? Because there are people out here that believe that. Now, if you want to ask me what I think that this is a myth. I think absolutely sticks and stones can hurt your bones, but I also believe that words can absolutely hurt you, and they can hurt you for a long time. And I think we lose sight of that. And it doesn't mean that you're weak because somebody's words affect you, but depending on your relationship to people, some people's words can hurt more than others, but words can absolutely hurt you. So we walk around saying this all the time, and I think it actually started out as like a children's nursery rhyme to just kind of, when it came to bullying and teasing people, and don't let those words bother you, which is, there's a message there. There's absolutely a message there. We have to learn, but that's part of the power shut up, and learning how to not let people's words affect you. But in that process, there is nothing that suggests that those words don't hurt. That's why we got to, work into a space where they don't hurt like they did at one point. I think I haven't met anyone at any time in their life when they were younger that maybe has held on to some words that were said to them that weren't very nice, that were discouraging, that were hurtful, and they held them. I know I did. I remember things that were said to me when I was younger that have absolutely kind of taken control in certain areas of my life. And I think that we need to do better about acknowledging that. And we don't have to, put our chest in the air and say, no, nothing hurts me and nothing you say can hurt me. It's true. Words can hurt. They can hurt bad, and they can harm you in all kinds of ways. And we can talk about physically speaking, where sticks and stones may break your bones, and that's true. But I am of the belief that if we don't learn how to use our words better with one another, you can absolutely physically harm yourself. And I mean by getting sick behind somebody damaging your self-esteem, where, you're just kind of discouraged, you get down, you get depressed. All of those things can affect you physically. So there is a way to physically be harmed by words, and people take it so lightly these days. And even in this world's current events, we can clearly see why it's just not a matter of sticks and stones may break my bones, but words don't hurt. That is absolutely not true in my opinion. But I would love if someone would like to, join in and share how they don't agree. Because I know people have opinions and they have different perspectives. So on both sides of this, we really kind of want to see who is actually, on the opposite side of this and feels like, no, words don't really hurt me. I believe that words have extreme power and they can be just as harmful, but I'm open to hearing what other people have to say in that regard. So that's one of the things that I wanted to tap into. And the other had to do with actions speaking louder than words. I want to talk about, is that true? Now, it can be true, but I don't know that it's necessarily true all the time. And I wanted to get, different people's opinions on what they thought on that, because it could be that, both can be true at the same time. I'm a person that not only wants to see action, I want your words to match your action. So they are both very important to me. But I do know that there are some people who believe that they don't care anything about your words. You can say whatever you want to say. They don't care about that. They want to make sure that your actions are appropriate. But I wanted to kind of challenge people to think about that, because if you think about it, there are times when your actions can't really express what you're thinking. So your actions may seem as if you don't care, there's nothing going on, but it's your words that you share. You could be sitting still and hollering and screaming at somebody. So hollering and screaming is some kind of expression, but you're not moving, you're not doing anything. So I think that that's one where we can challenge people a little bit, but I'm always interested on both sides of it. But those are some things that I've heard, over the years as a young kid growing up. I would hear that. And I do know the history of it, which is how, we catch on to things. We say things when we're younger, we hear our parents say it, and we just grab a hold on it. And we never think about where it comes from and why we say what we say. But when it comes to words and how I'm so involved with the power of words, and that's where the Power Shut Up came from, I kind of like to dig into things a little bit and find out, well, why do we think that? So like when I was doing some kind of research on the action, the actions speak louder than words. And, of course that suggests that, the significance of actions when it comes against words. And yeah, you can say whatever you want to say, like we just mentioned, but your actions going to really tell me, how you feel, what you feel. That is true in many situations, but I think that there are times when you can flip that and the words can hold just as much power. So I think that that's something that we can talk about on both sides and come to an understanding that two things can be true at the same time, right? So yes, actions can a lot of times speak louder than your words, but there are some people, me would be one of those people, that feel like your actions and your words mean the world to me. And if they don't align and they don't match, then my red flags go up. My beacons go up, as I say, and I'm kind of thinking about, okay, what's going on? Because people can be, true. They can be not be truthful about what they're saying. So that takes away from the power to word because they're not telling the truth. But I would challenge that and say, even in a lie, when somebody is lying, that can be powerful. It can affect someone's life further down the road. So there's pluses and minuses to that. But actions, of course, speak very loud. But I mean, I'm also aware of people that act and behave in a certain way, and they don't really even mean what they're doing. They're doing it for some reason, or they've been coerced, or they've, as I say, drank the Kool-Aid. So they're doing something that's not really what they believe, but they're trying to fit in with another group. So they're doing it. So, I mean, the message can be really kind of mixed up either way you go. But I actually personally believe that, actions can speak louder than words. But I also think that sometimes words can actually speak louder than actions. So I can go either way. And so I'm kind of in the middle with that. So I don't necessarily think it's not true. I just think that it actually can go both ways. So I was also curious about people who say, no, I don't care anything about your words, because I think we do care. And I think words do matter. I think that people use their words, and sometimes very strategically, and things can happen. It can be dangerous. It can be hurtful. It can be very misleading for people to share words, and people believe them, and they're aware that they're not telling the truth. And that could hurt somebody. Somebody could get hurt behind someone not telling the truth. So there's still something that can happen behind not using your words wisely. But all of this has to do with how I think we don't think enough about what we're saying out of our mouths. And that the one thing that I always say is that, everything that you think, everything that's in here does not have to come out here. And we have to be careful on how we use our words with one another, because we're all not the same, right? So we all don't think the same. We all don't feel the same. Just like I said, words are very important. For other people, they feel like your words don't mean anything to me. You can say what you want to say to me. You can call me anything you want. I mean, I've grown into a space where in certain instances that may be true, but we're all not on the same path doing the same thing at the same time, right? So for that reason, I think we should be mindful about how we use our words. And the other part of that, and I'm kind of not getting into the current events, but just kind of mentioning the reason why words are so important is because we've seen how things over and over again can be said to someone, and they can start to feel a certain way, and then it can affect them. And then they respond and they react. And the thing about it is, yes, there is a freedom of speech. But remember, you are also responsible for the consequences. So once you say something, you speak something, you're also there's a consequence for whatever you decide to say. So it can't be a one-way street. It is always a two-way street, in my opinion. So that's what I feel like in regards to the actions speak louder than words. And I think that that's a topic that is ongoing, because there are a lot of people that feel very strongly about your words just hold no weight. I happen to think that words hold a lot of weight. And because we kind of sleep on the power of words, things are happening around us and we're wondering, how did all this happen? All I said was. But to me, sometimes it's all you said, and that's all it took. And we have to be mindful of that. The other one is about the sticks and stones may hurt my bones, but words will never hurt me. Eh, I think most people that I talk to believe that that's actually not true. I know we used to say that as kids. But I think that it was kind of a deterrent to dealing with something that hurts you. So, someone calling you out of your name, someone hurting your feelings, I get it on a level of parent to child that we don't want them to focus on that. And I know I grew up a lot of times and you would hear, if it's not true, don't give it any weight. But the reality is that we do hear the words of others. And it kind of depends on your relationship with people. If you are closer to someone, it's a sibling, it's family, it's your mom or your dad, or, somebody that you really care about, your best friend, then I think their words would a lot of times hold a lot more weight than others. And in that regard, if they're not careful about how they speak with you, they could really hurt you and it could damage you over years. I think that there are a lot of people in this world who are damaged by what someone said to them. And to some people, it sounds like, how could you let words kind of control you? How could you let what somebody says to you hurt you? And I don't think it's about letting it. I do think that you have to grow into a space where you don't allow what people say to you to damage you. But I do think that that doesn't negate the fact that it could damage you. So that's kind of what I wanted to tap into. That's why I didn't choose to have a guest. And for those who decided to join, they could come up and we could just have a discussion about this. But I really, really love talking about the power of words, which also is about the power of shut up. So that's why I love coming here every Thursday and talking about things that have to do with communication, because I think in any form of fashion, whatever career you're in, whatever you're doing in life, communication is involved. And that's whether you're verbally speaking something or non-verbally speaking. So I think that it's very important that we start to tap into the power of words and how they can affect you. And we need to stop ignoring that they have this power. So before we go any further, I wanted to actually take a minute, let you know a little bit about what we, do here on the Power Shut Up as we have guests on and we talk about different subject matter. And I also want to invite you to share any topics that you might be interested in having. So give me a minute. We'll be right back. Check this out.
Is your family struggling to communicate? Do misunderstandings and arguments seem to be the norm? This fall, discover a new way to connect with the ones you love on the Power of Shut Up podcast. Join us as we explore the incredible power of listening and the art of effective communication. Each episode brings expert insights, real-life stories, and practical tips to help families like yours build stronger, more meaningful relationships. Learn how to truly hear each other, express yourselves with kindness, and create a harmonious home environment. It's time to transform your family's communication dynamics and find peace in the power of silence. Tune into the Power of Shut Up podcast this fall, because sometimes the best way to speak is to simply listen. Available on all streaming platforms. Don't miss out.
So that's a little snippet of what we do here on the Power Shut Up podcast and why it's so important, or at least I feel like it's so important for us to come together at least for an hour every week and talk about how we can come together and have conversations and listen to one another. The Power Shut Up involves listening. It involves being considerate of others. It involves respecting one another. And those are the things that we talk about. And I think a lot of those things don't go into play when we're talking with people, especially when we're angry and we're frustrated. And we are definitely in that kind of state right now in the world. But what I'm suggesting is that we take a moment to really think about how our words can affect people. It can affect our family. It can affect our friends. It can affect our children. I've seen it. I've been through it, and I've actually started to learn over the years. And that's why I wrote the book, The Power Shut Up, because I learned so many things. And believe me, you couldn't have paid me money to believe that me being quiet was going to make anything better. Okay. I did not believe that at all. And I'm not saying that this is easy, and I'm not saying that it's an ongoing lesson. I'm always a work in progress, but I think that we should definitely consider thinking before we speak and at the same time setting all those egos aside for what you think you had to set straight, and you're going to keep it real. All the things that we say so we can definitely tell somebody off and give ourselves permission. But let's start to burn those petty files and just do better by one another. Just listen to what people have to say. And I understand we won't always agree. And I'm not suggesting that you just listen to everything all day long. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is when you enter conversations, you have to make decisions. And I kind of use, and I'll start to kind of roll this out. And I am launching, let me just share this. I am launching my own coaching and consulting business where I will be talking to people who not only want to be more effective in their communication with others, but I also want to help them to launch things like a podcast or being an author or being a publisher. So I really want to help people to step into their next. And so that's what I'll be transitioning into. And I'll be sharing more of that on the podcast here. I did want to reveal, I think I mentioned this last week, that I will be launching what will be called Launchpad Coaching and Consulting coming soon. So I'm excited about it. And I would love to reveal right here with you all that this is the new logo. So I'm excited about it. And Launchpad, I think I chose this because I really am excited, and I have always been when I move on to my next. I'm excited about launching into it. And I know it takes a lot, it gets scary, but I'm here to help people to take that next level. If they're thinking about starting your own online magazine, you're thinking about getting into the publishing world. And what I've noticed when I've been out here is that a lot of people have been doing some of the wrong things for a long time. And what happens is when you approach them and you're sharing with them maybe something that's known in the industry, whether it be being an author or publishing or podcasting, that they push against it because they've been doing it for a long time one way. But it doesn't necessarily mean you're doing it the right way just because you did it for a long time. And I'm hoping that I will start to be able to help people with launching into that next and getting the basics. So part of the series with what I'm doing with having some classes and some seminars and things like that is to actually give people the basics, things that you wouldn't even think about that are important. But I can see that people forget about it. They really don't put any weight into presentation. If you remember back when we were kids, presentation was everything. And now it's like, they take this come as you are, just keep it real, be, just regular with it and don't put any effort into it. It still means something to put some effort into it and really show that you care about what you're doing. You value what you're doing. And it also allows other people to value what you're doing too. So that was actually me revealing the logo for the first time. So you'll see that more often. And I'm hoping to be able to show like classes and seminars that I'm doing. But I did want to take this moment to just say thank you. Thank you to everyone for your continued support. Thank you for believing in me from the beginning. Thank you for coming in and engaging and sharing your stories and your perspectives, your opinions on things. I think we had great conversation here and we're able to be open. And we don't expect that everyone will always agree, but we do agree to hear everyone out. And that's what I love about coming here every Thursday. I really, truly look forward to it. I wanted to also mention, because I always forget, but the holidays are coming up faster than we know, y'all. So I wanted to make sure you grabbed your notes to self socks. I want you to do this today. This is my link for the Power Shut Up. So notestoself.com/POSU is how you can go and get your socks. Because I am affiliated with Notes to Self Socks, and I connected with them because they have the most amazing messages on their socks. I love why they decided to do it, and I love socks, so why not, right? So I have tons of pairs of socks, and I want you to have some too. I do give them away at times, and I want you to go ahead and purchase and get ready for all of those wonderful occasions that are coming up. And I have a few that I wanted to share with you before we move a little forward into what your thoughts may be on Sticks and Stones May Hurt My Bones. And I did a little research that I wanted to share with you to see what your thoughts were on it. And I do encourage you, if you don't catch the show live, please go to Lisa Dove Washington YouTube channel or my Facebook page, The Power Shut Up, and share your comments. Share this with your friends and your family. Ask them to go in the comments and just have the conversation. Just put replay in the comments so I know you came on through afterwards. But I want to remind you, just like I did last week, that there are a couple of health awareness things going on in the month of September. I think I shared all the way up until today. Of course, we acknowledged and honored in remembrance of 9/11 earlier, but I did wanted to remind you all, and please mark this on your calendar. If you weren't aware this month, then you'll be aware for next September, but September is Healthy Aging Month. And I thought that was appropriate for me because when I tell you aging is a whole thing and I am trying to adjust and the denial that comes with this. So I thought this was absolutely appropriate for those who don't know. But this month is Healthy Aging Month. So for those who didn't know, that's a little footnote for you. I also wanted to share that this is Prostate Health Awareness Month, and that's very important, especially for our guys who are joining in here. I want you all to know that we care and we want to stay aware as well. So please, I encourage you all to look up information on prostate health and be aware if your fathers or your brothers or your uncles or your husbands are going through things. It's just like menopause when we go through that and we want our husbands to understand what we're going through and our family, because we don't know. I know I didn't know when I was going through it, all the things that could show up. So with prostate health, we need to be aware so that we can be there for them. I also wanted to mention that this was National Suicide Prevention Month. September is. So please be mindful and stay mindful. It doesn't mean that just this month we're aware and then we do nothing else. But it's just a reminder that there are people out there that are struggling. And that's why at the beginning of the show, I actually, send prayers up to those who are struggling. Hang in there. You are not alone. And when I think about those people, I just want to remind you, just don't give up. It's the try for me. Don't give up. There are people out here that can help you, that can talk you through. So I just wanted to stay aware of the fact that September is National Suicide Prevention Month. And we're part of that. We want to make sure you're aware. So I wanted to give you a few fun awareness things in the month of September, just like we did last week, that I thought were really cute. Now I picked the ones that were definitely on the positive side of things, that I thought were funny and cute and that I definitely would celebrate. So let's take today. We did, like I said, remember the victims and the families of 9/11. But also for September 11th, I wanted to ask you all, did you know that it was Make Your Bed Day? Now, the funny thing about that is you should be making your bed every day, right? I get it. But how cool would it be to be able to share with your kids that there is an official day, though, on September 11th that is Make Your Bed Day? So if no other day, officially on September 11th, you should be making your bed. So I thought that was cute. September 12th, which is tomorrow, remember that it is National Day of Encouragement. I did not know it was such a day, but why not? So mark your calendars for tomorrow and make sure that you encourage somebody to do something that they've never done before that could put a smile on someone's face or bless someone in a wonderful way, or encourage yourself. But tomorrow is National Day of Encouragement. Now, September 13th, it's Positive Thinking Day. And I'm a fan of positive thinking every day. Okay, I'm from the DMV, so that's where that area came from. But every day, positive thinking. So remember, September 13th is Positive Thinking Day. On the 14th, shout out to all my Gigi's and Nanas and Gmas and Grandmas and the Papas and the Lolos and all of the grandparents. On the 14th, it is Grandparents' Day. And don't you let them forget it, okay? Because grandparents are important out in these streets. So I wanted to let you all know, for those who are new to the group that just became grandparents or whatever it may be, please remember The 14th is Grandparents' Day. We get a day. And grandparenting is one of the best jobs I ever had. So they better recognize me on my day. That's all I'm saying. Okay, so on the 15th, I found out it's Get Ready Day. I mean, of course, that can be every day, but how cool is it to have September 15th as Get Ready Day? So mark your calendars for that and find a reason to get ready. Get ready to live out your dreams. Get ready to level up. Get ready to move into your next, whatever it is. On the 15th, they say you better really be celebrating getting ready. Also on September 16th, it is National Step Family Day. I am a blended family, and I think we don't get enough recognition. I know it can be a hard journey. Believe me, I know. But actually this year, and I did not know that there was a day for this. Welcome, Marquita. Thank you so much for tuning in. I did not know that there was a day for this, but on September 16th, it is National Step Family Day. And I think it's important to encourage step families to that they have a day, because we get a hard rap out here, these blended families. Marquita says she's dropping in to show some love real quick, and I absolutely appreciate you. Thank you so much, Marquita. One day I'm gonna get Marquita up here so y'all remember her name and her face, because we're gonna have her up here talking about what she does in her community to help others. She is an absolute gem. So thank you, Marquita. I so appreciate you. And we're just highlighting some days in September, and I'm taking you all the way to the 17th, because the 18th we will be back here and we will be hanging out and having more discussions on the power of shut up and possibly a guest. And I'll let you know the week of, but we always like to keep you in suspense until. But on the 17th, I found out that it's Time's Up Day. Now, I'm not sure how I want to translate that, but in a positive way. But time's up. It's time to do the daggone thing is how I'm going to translate it. So remember September 17th. So I've given you some awareness days all the way up until we meet on next Thursday. I love kind of looking up those things and sharing them, because it's okay to just celebrate sometimes, just little things. So it doesn't take much for me. So y'all can't go by me, because Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, those are all reasons to get up and celebrate. You woke up, you got another chance to get it right. So I thank the Lord every day for giving me another opportunity. So it don't take much for me, but I love to share some things where people can just be grateful for what they have. So before we say good evening, I did want to dip back in a little bit to talk about the sticks and stones may break my bones, but words would never hurt me, and actions speak louder than words. Marquita, I don't know how long you can stay, but I would, if you can, I would love for you to come up and let's talk about it for a minute. But that's what we've been talking about here, because I know since we've been kids, we've always heard the saying that sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. And I'm actually challenging that for some people who believe it, and I want to suggest that that's absolutely not true at all. But I know that people, I know why they're saying it, but I'm suggesting that that's just not true, that words can absolutely hurt you. So I want to encourage people to keep in mind that we have to be careful with how we speak to people, what we say to them, even in jest, even in joking and, playing with them, or even arguing with people. A lot of times we're speaking in our emotions. He said, I just finished HOA meeting, need to grab something to eat. And y'all know Marquita gonna get her food. Okay, I'm just saying. But thank you so much, sis. I appreciate you. But yeah, we speak sometimes and don't give it a second thought about who we could be hurting and how we would feel if the same thing was said to us. So I think we just need to keep in mind that our words are important and they matter. And just because something wouldn't hurt your feelings doesn't necessarily mean that they wouldn't get hurt. And I think too many times we expect us from others, but we're all very different. And I think if we don't communicate well with one another, we'll never come to a meeting ground where we can be at least respectful with one another without having to, feel like you have to agree or move or do the same thing that other people do, but still be mindful. So I am a fan of that. I know I get pushback sometimes about words not having that much weight. And if you, feel some kind of way when somebody says something to you, the suggestion is always that there's a weakness there. And I don't actually agree with that. I don't think that you're weak because something affects you. I think that if you're able to be honest, I think that there's some people who can say things to me and it may not affect me the same way if someone else that's really close to me says it to me. But I also know that I have accountability in that everyone's word shouldn't shake me. It shouldn't rock my world. The saying that they used to say where you let someone steal your joy. I don't think that anyone can steal your joy unless you allow them to do so. And that can be through their words, what they say to you. I know that people can call you out your name. People can say all kind of mean things to you. Look, we can turn on the TV and we can go outside. And there's somebody out there that doesn't like you, doesn't like what you say, what you look like. I mean, it's life. That's true. But it's also true that things that people say to you in those moments when they express it, because let's go back to the power shut up. You don't always have to say everything that you think and feel. Everybody doesn't need to know that you don't like how they look. Everybody doesn't need to know that you don't like what they're wearing. I mean, that's all good for you, but why do you feel the need to let them know? Sometimes it's not necessary, but you can also be hurting somebody and affecting their self-esteem. And if they haven't been healed or they haven't grown to a place where they can handle it, you could absolutely damage them. And if we cared about people as a whole, we would be more mindful about what we say. And that's all I'm suggesting, is that when we're talking to people, that this whole saying of, if I didn't hit you with nothing, good evening, welcome, Coco. Y'all, I dropped the link if y'all got time to come up and talk about it real quick before we say good evening. I'm just talking about sticks and stones may break your bones, but words would never hurt you, or that actions speak louder than words. So I happen to think that both of these statements that we've used almost all of our lives are not true. But I know that there are people out there that believe they are absolutely true. So I just thought it would be a great conversation. And I think I want to bring this back to the table and have people give me their opinions if they're opposite. Because I know a lot of us maybe think alike about this. If you've grown up and you remember something that your parents said to you that really crushed you and you held on to it, or it could even be a cafeteria person at school that said something really nasty to you one day when you were a kid, and you realize 30 years later that still affects you. It really kind of messed you up or made you feel like you couldn't accomplish something in life. You know how serious that is with the power of words. And you're going to tell me that, there was an action behind that. Maybe somebody hit you on your arm or something and it hurt in the moment and it bruised or whatever. Yes, that's serious. But think about words that linger on for years that people hold on to, and it affects the way they interact with everyone they come across. Sometimes it even affects their personality and how they are with people. They're angry, they're hurt, they're sad, they're depressed, or even happy based on what people told them, said to them, and what they held close to their hearts. So that's why I thought this was a really important conversation to have and see where people were on that spectrum, if they thought that this was actually a true statement or if it's kind of a myth. So I appreciate you all for tuning in. I do want to encourage you all to please, again, go to Lisa Dove Washington YouTube channel and check out all of the episodes. This is the third season of the Power Shut Up podcast, but I will say that before the Power Shut Up, I had Luncheon with Lisa. I believe those episodes are still out there too. We've been doing this for probably over 10 years. Before then, I was actually in studio, and I believe when COVID happened, it kind of brought us to, the virtual. But I absolutely enjoy spreading a message that is about how we can learn to communicate effectively with one another, because I think we can actually, help to heal the world with our words when we start to learn how to use them. So I appreciate you all tuning in. I have as always, enjoyed you, and I look forward to having you back next Thursday. I'm going to do another shameless plug because I wanted to grab something to drink. Just hold on. Oh, where did I get the mug from? You can inbox me and find out, but the power shut up. This is a mug. It's black on the inside. Want to check it out? Oh, it's Thursday. Okay, wait a minute. I'm still a little thirsty, so let me. Where did I get this from? Of course, this is also the power shut up, because guess what? We got merch, okay? I don't play over here. We got merch. So inbox me if you'd love to get a mug. I'm also wearing my power shut up shirt. I don't play over here. We got keychains. We have mugs. We have, I think we still have hats. We've had pillows. We have all kinds of things. We have gibbets for your Crocs. So please stay connected and tune in and find out what else we have going on. And definitely more about the coaching that I'll be launching and just what's going to happen with the Power Shut Up as we go through season 3. So more to come next Thursday. But again, I appreciate you for tuning in. And I want to leave you with this. And this is for Ephesians 4:29. Let no corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth, but that which is good to the use of edifying, that it may minister grace unto the heavens. This encourages us to speak in ways that build others up rather than tear them down. And that's the message for this evening, in regards to what I call myths of sticks and stones may hurt your bones, but words will never hurt you, and actions speak louder than words. I don't believe either. And for that reason, I will continue to speak on effective communication and how we can do better with how we talk with one another. So until next week, I look forward to seeing you then. Have a great week.